and I will tell you when I can see us. I'll do a very quick intro.
Yeah, go for it.
Are we live? It appears as though we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday night. It's 7:30. You are tuned in for some inexplicable reason to episode 19 of Thompsin and Other Disappointments. And my guest this week is the one, the only, the social media liberal voice, John Left of the Countryside. Welcome to the podcast, John. How you doing?
Thank you for having me, Aid. Yeah, I'm good. It's Friday, so I'm knackered as fuck. That's
same.
But I have beer. Have you got orange squash?
I've got squash for the minute, yeah. I felt proper parched before I came out here, and I thought it's probably not super wise to just start. You know when you're already dehydrated and the last piss you took is fucking orange, like it just looks like that. So I thought, do you know what? I'll be smart. I'll have an orange squash, and then I'll crack open a beer.
That's good.
That's my diet update. Anyway, so yeah, how's your week been?
It's been good. I quite like the fact we both sort of middle class the fuck out of it, both with the outbuildings that we're
yes.
in. It's like, hi, welcome to the middle classes. We build shit in the garden and then film shit in that weird studios.
This cabin, I've fucking decimated it, and yet it was the reason that I was so keen on this house. I was like, I could turn that into a sick fucking studio, and I could do this, and I could produce little short films and stuff. And like, little did I should have factored in the fact I've got now young kids plural. When the fuck do I ever get a chance? This is my luxury, is coming out here for like an hour each week. So I don't know when I thought I was going to do all this magical creative stuff out here.
Oh yeah, this is my wife's sewing stuff. Like,
oh, is it?
Yeah, this is just, I have this. There's this like corner over
here
with like a microphone and camera and stuff, and the rest is and it creeps over. I feel further and further pushed to this gap in the corner.
It looks a bit like, I'm the same. Like over this side, just off camera, it is chaos. You don't you don't want to see it.
No, this is nothing. This is nothing to do with me. Everybody goes like, "Are you selling furniture?" No, I'm fucking not.
Well, you've got a sort of it's a sort of room and furniture and stuff I would expect from like a pub that's going through a refurb. Like they've sort of stashed all their shit out there. But then you've got, is that a whiteboard in the background as well?
No, it's a screen. It's a dressing screen.
Right. Okay. I thought
she's been stenciling to resell. That's the other thing.
Right.
Middle class. Just you take paint off stuff and paint it with more expensive paint and then sell it again.
Yeah.
I'm not involved in this. It's nothing to do with me.
Sure. I believe you. Yeah. So I guess some sort of introduction for you would be good for any the very few returning listeners that I'm sure I get. But so you and I know each other from TikTok, and we've both been making videos that lean to the left. Yes. I like to go on a sort of morning rant / walk and talk into my phone, and then I get abused in the comment section for the rest of the day. And then you take a similar approach, right?
Yeah, so I started off doing the same thing as everybody did on the TikTok journey, which was lip syncs to popular songs, mainly for. To the background, I've done the story on TikTok before, but
let's just get this straight. You didn't join and just dance around in your pants, because I thought that was the real phrase. Yeah. I mean, my first few videos were. I'm glad I've deleted them now, but sorry, carry on. So you were lip syncing.
So my niece, in case she watches this back, was in a mental health care unit, right? And I was sending her funny videos all the time, like of other stuff. I used to do character stuff on YouTube as well,
right? Which
I can say later or something. But anyway, but I used to send her funny videos. Then I used to use this app called, I can't remember what it was called, Lip Sync or something. And then one of my friends said, "Oh, I use TikToks. They've got loads of big library." So I started filming them.
Yeah.
And sending, just keeping them private and sending them to her. And then somebody else said, "Oh, they're brilliant." One of my more stupid friends put those up on TikTok, and I did. And I got like 100 followers of just doing crappy lip syncs.
Yeah.
And then my very good friend who's Scottish, I sent him He'd seen a couple of them. And he said, why the fuck do you keep doing those stupid lip sync videos? They're not funny.
Yeah.
Just publish one of the videos you send to me when you're just walking down the road ranting about some socialist shite that you fucking care about, and post that instead.
Yeah.
And I did. And then it went, like, so I've got, I don't know, like 6,000 followers now. And it went from 100 to 1,000.
Yeah.
When I was talking about idiots and COVID-19. Oh,
yeah.
I did a thing about, I was saying to people, stop arguing with people on social media about COVID-19. Because if you're arguing with a fucking idiot, you can't win.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So I said it's like playing chess with a pigeon.
Yes.
The pigeon will knock all the pieces over, shit on the board, and then claim it's won.
Yes.
That's what you're doing.
Exactly like that. Yeah.
Stop arguing.
We both know this because this is a sort of daily thing for me now, is and my girlfriend as well, which is kind of slightly weirder. But like, so I'll do a morning TikTok and then I'll upload it and then off I go on my way. And then that's it for the rest of the day. I'm getting pulled to pieces, argued, shouted at, called. I've been called a plant for like I'm some sort of Tory plant to make lefties look bad, which actually hurts. Like there's a visceral.
That's worse. That's definitely worse.
Yeah. Like most of it's like, oh, this guy, oh, here he comes again talking shit. It's stuff like that, right? And I can handle that. That's fine. And then there's a few that are just like, sort your fucking teeth out, mate. And I'm like, oh, all right, okay. And then I'll try and crack a joke back and get some banter going. And then there's no banter. They'll just be like, you're a moron. And I'm like, great. Well, this was worth it.
Mine's forehead, always, every time. You got a massive forehead.
Yeah.
I'm fucking aware. I hope we have a mirror. It is, and stop calling it a forehead. It's definitely 5. This is a 5 head.
Yeah.
Stop fucking about. Like, as soon as you turn into it, because the comedic thing is to always turn into the swerve. So they'll go, you dress like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I'm aware of this.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's what I do every day. I get up and think, how can I look like a bigger arsehole? And then I buy clothes to make myself a bigger arsehole. And instead of them kind of coping with that, and you look like this. I know.
Yeah. Like, I mean, this is the thing. It's the total vacuum of humor that fascinates me. It's like when they throw an insult at you, like, you look like a fucking rat, mate. And I'm like, cool. Like, if you think I'm ugly, you should see my comment section. Like something like that. And then I'll assume that they're going to come back and, we'll have a bit of a tit for tat. But it's like when you throw them an opportunity to throw back the banter bone. And then it's just like, yeah, well, you're a tosser. It's just like, oh, like, yeah, I gave you a chance there. Like, now I'm just bored. Now I'm off.
Yeah. Then I get, the other one I get is, I think because we've both spoken about this, is stuff that when they go personal, but weirdly, you know what you want to do, by the way, if you're a TikTok troll and you're watching this, aim for everything that's on the screen, right? Because you know this is fact. Everything. So if Aid's saying something, he's saying, I own a house, take the piss, say it's horrible or whatever, or you bet it's a shithole,
right.
Or take the piss out of his t-shirt. Sorry. Don't reach, because you'll always fuck up. Like, and one I always get is, you're going to be single forever. Darling, it turns out I'm going to be single forever. And, oh, you're just jealous because you don't own a house.
Yeah.
Fuck, I need to ring HSBC. We keep giving you money for no reason. We haven't got a house. This is fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's a land of presumption, isn't it? Like, if you put across some sort of, if you make it known that your stance is that you care about social housing, for example, you truly believe that as a fundamental right and a need that everyone should have some sort of roof over their head, and it shouldn't be like shitty quality. You shouldn't let them sit and rot and fester. Like, it should be okay social housing, like that's a belief of yours. But as soon as you put that stance out there, the assumption immediately is, well, it sounds like you have to work hard. It sounds like you better put your head down and save up, just like I did and my son did when he bought his house and he was only 17. Like, it's like all that shit. You're like, I'm okay, thanks.
Yeah, calm down. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I just worry about other people.
It's
And then you did two great TikToks. They're both in the last 24 hours. The one on Right to Buy, which is just the complete fucking quagmire of shit, which people don't understand.
Yeah.
And then the argument with yourself in the car, which was just the thing of, it's such an alien concept to give a shit about other people. Like, I always think, there's a few things I think you need to have been through to understand them. So you need to have been really, really cold once, like really fucking cold, like to your bone, and then you understand what cold is. Oh, fuck, that's horrible. And kind of like, oh, you've been really hot and you don't really like that. And being skint is an important learning thing.
Sure. Yeah.
And I remember my first flat, which is going to sound ludicrous to anybody under 25 now. This isn't me moaning. I'm well aware. Before anybody. So it's 50 quid, which, mate, you wouldn't get anything for that now. It was 50 quid a week.
Right.
There was 2 different types of carpet in the front rooms. There was one in the middle and a different one around the outside.
Sounds cool.
It came furnished, so it had wicker furniture, and all the cushions used to slide out from under you when you sat on them.
Right.
It came with a bed that looked like a torture thing from like the 16th century. And it came with a radio, and then, like, everything else I had to get on catalogue and everything else, and I was always fucking skint, like trying to see how many microwave chips you can get for a quid, or whatever. Yeah. But trying to get, I always think, with the judgment of how poor you are is, if you ever been to a shop with £1 and you need 2 meals, then you know how skint you are. You're like,
yeah.
This is lunch and dinner, right? What the fuck am I going to put in my face?
egg and crust sandwich, 2 ketchup sachets. Yeah.
Pasta and ketchup is a meal.
Yeah,
that's a meal.
I think I've got some Nurofen at home. That'll be dessert. Great. Yeah.
It's got a sugary coating. I can just lick it off. If I don't take the Nurofen, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Right. I kind of think they're really important. Hopefully, to kind of teach you, like, you don't want anyone else. There's nothing to learn. You don't need other people to do it. You'll tell them. They'll go, have you ever been poor? Yes, it's shit. You don't want to do that. It's really but
that's like, you're cutting right down the line there of, like, this is what fascinates me is, so for you and me and anyone else that, let's say, has gone through a real period of hardship, and I count myself in that boat, because I'll talk about this in a minute, but basically, if you've gone through that sort of experience, you, me, and people like us would get into this mindset. They'd be like, well, I know what it's like to be really fucking broke and to not have any support there, and not to have family money, and to not have a well-paid job, and to have basically no prospects and no margin of change to be able to change my situation, and to feel pretty hopeless and embarrassed by it. And I don't want anyone else to have to feel like that. And it's not necessary, because I know if we're spending millions of pounds on a new Prince Philip boat, then maybe we could spend millions of pounds on just improving people's situation and giving them a bit of a leg up, right? But that is this half of people. The other half of people, they come out with shit like this. They go, yeah, well, I was really fucking broke, and yeah, it wasn't easy, but I got myself out of it. So now you crack on with your misery. Like, it's...
You go through it as well. Why? Just fucking tell them. Say it's shit. It's fine. They'll get it. It's not that hard to understand.
But it's a weird psychological, like, mechanism where it's like, so if I support this other person to get up and out of their misery, then that somehow means that my misery was not worthwhile. It's lost its, like, credence. Like, I think that's the transaction that's taking place. But how you convince somebody that fucking dumb and non-empathetic that the issue is with them in their brain, I don't know. I suspect that conversation would be very short, and they'd probably just punch you in the face.
I remember I've tried to tell people that, just as me and a friend used to work in a soup kitchen on a Friday night, which is kind of like it's an experience that's weird, because the worst people at a soup kitchen are on your side of the table if you're helping. I fucking promise. Sanctimonious tossers just on your side, like fucking idiots who just drive you mad, who think they're in the UN and this is a food parcel, and they'll say most of the people at the soup kitchen, this was in Ipswich in Suffolk, were most of the clients were prostitutes. And homeless people and people with mental illness were just the bread and butter, literally. And sometimes people would just say something like, we used to do ham sandwiches, cheese sandwiches. You get vegetable soup and biscuits and a tea and a coffee. So sometimes somebody would say, have you got anything that's not ham and not cheese? I don't like ham and cheese. And you just go, that's one of those things. We kind of just have to we do our best and try and work out what's going to be most popular. Sorry if that's a bit rubbish. well, I can't eat that. You go, well, say someone was a vegan, that's happened. And
Yeah.
you just go, well, I'll tell you what, have 2 biscuits. Does that work? Vegetable soup, couple of biscuits to take off. And that works. But sometimes you get next to a Karen and they go, they'll say, have you got anything that's not cheese or ham?
Yeah.
And they go, well, excuse fucking me. Somebody has finished work at 5 o'clock, got home and made these fucking sandwiches, and then you've come here to moan. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Like
And
you're trying to point score with a homeless person, a homeless, hungry person, and you want to score fucking points. You've already won, you bellend.
And once that attitude was in, though, it was almost like a ripple effect. Like, because if there was a rule that if there was ever a near fight, you have to stop for insurance reasons. You have to stop immediately.
Right.
And so if you could get ahead of it and go, whoa, don't, because we'll have to go. I promise we'll have to go. We won't get 3 seconds. They'll call it and we'll have to go. Please don't do it. But if you've got Karen, who then was dealing with the fight that she'd started, she'd do it again. Like, don't bloody fight. He's already started about the cheese sandwiches. Oh, fuck's sake. Fucking shut up.
Like, why would a person because we've all worked with people like that, right? Where they make a mountain out of a molehill and everything's a fucking drama. And I remember one time I worked in a place that had a burger, fried food outlet, and somebody walked into the back and went just sang a song about this girl's pants. It's probably not okay, but he just walked in the back and he was like, Sarah's wearing her pink pants, and she fucking burst into tears. It was the worst thing that had ever happened to her, apparently. She burst into tears and then ran it, told the general manager about it. He came down, bollocked the kid. The kid got a disciplinary. I was like, is this really I mean, come on. Jeez. It's a song about your pants, and your pants were hanging out, and they are bright pink. It's not lying. It's not I don't know.
That's an amazing disciplinary.
Yeah.
I do want to witness, and I want this recorded because it's fucking amazing.
And when I get up to board level in my job, I want to conduct disciplinaries like that. I want where it's just you and the person, and you're both just fighting to keep a straight face.
That is good. I've done disciplinaries, and I used to be a store manager for BP back in the day, and they're always shit. They're terrible. I had a guy steal £200.
Oh, right.
He had it on camera, where he didn't know there was a camera in the office, but it was so obvious. It was one of those heat sensors with a pinhole camera.
Right.
And we'd kind of worked out where the money had gone because I kind of tracked it to this point in time. It has to have happened here, and found the piece of footage, got it. And he fanned it out like it was a Bruce Forsyth show, that 200 quid. And then he turned and then put it in his back pocket, like it was perfect.
Yeah.
And we were explain the video, doing this, but anyway, no, this is video, and we kind of know you've taken the 200 quid. Obviously, we have to ask you if you'd like to see the footage. Yeah, I would. Would you? Really?
It's unnecessary.
And he went, yeah, I couldn't watch him watch it. It was the most uncomfortable thing in the world. I was like, yeah, I'm going to just press play. Just tell me when you've done it.
Yeah.
Oh, that is me. Yeah, no, that's you from 4 foot away.
Yeah.
It's quite easy to see.
Fuck. I mean, I suppose if you put yourself in his position, maybe it's
you might as well.
He wanted to drag out the consequences of that decision, as much as possible. So they were like, look, we could show you the footage if you like. And then he's like, yeah, please, because that might buy me an extra 2 minutes of time. And then I can think about how I'm going to get out of this or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
But I've managed to find this on YouTube. I was kind of struggling. I thought someone might chat in YouTube, but it's empty. Oh, now I can see Daniel Stephen Turner's. But hi guys, something has come up. I can't watch live. Don't. I was excited.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, Daniel.
Oh yeah, that was. I've had fun. Most of the disciplinaries are just awful. You've had 8 sick days. And it's just boring as fuck.
Yeah, I've never had to. Well, let's start from the beginning. I don't think I've ever been promoted into a position where it would be me running the disciplinary. I don't think so. Anyway, I've sat in with. I used to work in HR years ago, and I've sat in disciplinary meetings with other people, while it's going on, taking minutes and shit. And fuck me, mate, I could tell you some stories that make your eyes bleed. There's some crazy shit that goes on out there. I don't know if I'm technically under. I don't know if this.
Well, I'm okay because I know I'm clear. I'm a decade clear of those stories, so I can I didn't say any names.
Is
so
there
I'm
a statute of limitations on?
Well, I don't think so because most of the time it's a civil offence anyway, so you can't really. There's nothing there at all.
Yeah, I had one guy. Fuck it, let's spill the beans. I had one guy who I was brought in to take minutes of the meeting. I had to sit there listening to person A, his side of the story, and then the next day we went and listened to person B, and it was the most bizarre, funky shit ever. Like, person A said to us, I have a problem with my manager. I'm a young black man, a young gay black man, actually, and my manager is sexually harassing me, and he's installed some software on my phone to track my movements, his personal phone, and when I asked him why he did it, he just like winked and smirked and said, I just want to know where you are. Right? Creepy as fuck. Now I'm sitting there listening to this. Like, imagine me, I'm at this point 26 years old, so I'm just like writing these notes, and as he says, like, I just want to know where you are, like that, I stop writing and then just look up. I'm like, wow. And then carry on, right? So that's creepy. And then the next day we went and listened to the manager's side of it, and the manager was emphatic. He was just like, I don't know where he's got this idea from. I'm a happily married man. I'm not gay. I've got no interest in young gay men. I didn't install anything on his phone. And so I'm just like writing all the... I never worked out, never heard what happened with that, but it was the weirdest fucking thing. Because this guy, I believed him. I sat there and I even said to the guy that was running the disciplinary afterwards, I was like, I believe him. And
yeah.
And then when we got out of the one with his manager, I was like, I believe him. I don't know.
That's really crazy.
Yeah.
I have been I've been an arsehole at disciplinary. I have been the subject of one.
Did you install software on someone's phone?
What?
Did you
software on the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one. No, there was this rule with BP that if you left the safe handle down, so it was unlocked for longer than 3 minutes or something,
right?
It was an automatic disciplinary, which everyone. The door's double locked, and you're trying to count cash. Like, it doesn't. If the safe's open, but you've got £125,000 on your lap, what does it make any difference if the safe's locked? It's the stupidest shit in the world.
Yeah.
But there was this rule, and so this had happened. They used to download the data from the safe door, which they did, and it'd been left open. Anyway, they called the disciplinary because I'd left the safe door open. Okay, and they were setting up the disciplinary, and as you said, there was a note taker.
Yeah.
There was another manager who'd come to discipline me,
yeah,
and the auditor who had found the fault.
Right.
So we're all sat in the office, and the auditor said, and now, okay, if everybody's ready, we're going to start the disciplinary. And we went, yep, that's fine. She said, do you mind if I record it? And I said, no, it's absolutely fine. She said, I know her name was Wendy, she's very nice. And she from Dagenham, and she went, right, so it's 9 o'clock, it's Tuesday, the 5th of January. I'm doing disciplinary with John, and she set it all up, and she said, okay, is there anything you'd like to say first, John? I said, absolutely, yeah. What's the note taker? And she said, sorry? And I said, what level is he in the world? And she said, oh, he's an assistant manager. And I said, brilliant. What I'm going to do now is refuse to carry on with the rest of the disciplinary because he's not of my level, so I don't have to speak because he's here. Are we all right with that? And she went, yep. End in the disciplinary. I shut the whole thing down, and then she went through the whole thing, and she rang up head office. How much money was missing out of the safe? What do you mean there's no fucking money? Why the fuck am I here? Right, done. Slammed the phone down and left. End of disciplinary. You're in the clear. All right, see you later.
Fuck. Yeah.
I noticed it immediately that the guy was not. I didn't have to carry on with the disciplinary, but I thought, don't tell him early. They'll get another one.
Yeah. I had I've been on the receiving end of a disciplinary. No, actually, it wasn't really a disciplinary. It was like I got called into the cash office in my first job. I was 16, working in a supermarket, and they said, "Can you come up to the cash office for a minute?" And I thought, yeah, like I thought it was about some holiday I'd booked off, or maybe I'd come in late that morning or something. And I came into this cash office, and there's the woman that ran the cash office, and then there was the general manager of the supermarket, and they were like, "Can you take a seat, please, Adrian?" I was like, "Yeah." I'll sit down. And they said, you were on yesterday, right? On till 2? And I said, yeah. And they went, we cashed up till 2 last night, and it was short by £500 or something. And I went, ah? And they went, have you got any idea why that till would be short by £500? And I, like, my heart fucking sank into my stomach. I could have shat myself inside out. I was so like, I'm going to be arrested. I'm good. Like,
at that age, that's just horrific.
And there was no, like, I didn't fucking take the money. And like, and so I said, I was like, I have no idea. And there was that second silence or 2-second silence. They just look at you like trying to work out if the guilt's going to take over, and you go, okay, all right, I took it. My mum's sick.
You must have been able to £2 an hour, as if you'd have turned up for the disciplinary if you'd nicked £500 the day
I know.
before.
Like, I think I was making jokes as I went up like the staircase. I don't know what they thought, like what sort of sociopath they thought I was. Like, oh, motherfucker, just joking and laughing. But I said, yeah, I have no idea. And they waited like 2 seconds to like check my reaction. I was like that. And they were like, okay, all right, well,
completely unrelated, Sandra. I'm going to Ibiza on Monday for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, my limo's outside. I need to go.
Yeah, I've got to go.
Yeah. But I was like, I remember leaving and thinking, I wish I had fucking taken that money, because they obviously think that I do. They really believe that it was me that stole it. But yeah, more fool me. I could have had £500. Imagine having £500 when you were 16. You'd be balling.
Just the last thing on the disciplinary thing. The same lady, Wendy, she got, after this disciplinary thing, a lot later, they'd lost the outer bag had gone to Securicor, and Securicor had lost one of the inner bags, which had about £15,000 in it.
Yeah.
And phone rang and I picked it up. I didn't know this. And the phone rang and I picked it up. And she said, she went, John, it's Wendy. I said, oh, hi, Wendy. What's up? And she said, Securicor lost about 15 grand out of your bag. And I said, right. And she said, I'm not supposed to ring you because that is immediately me on the way to you. Take the safe apart. And I said, oh, so why are you ringing me? She went, I know you wouldn't steal 15 grand. You'd steal 40. So I'm just going to wait till they fucking find it. And then they hung up.
I like Wendy. She sounds cool.
She smoked about 7,000 fags a day, and at this point, she terrified the shit out of me. I was like 22, and the manager was just terrified of this fucking woman turning up. Anyway, we should go back to your stuff. I thought this isn't very lefty, is it? Oh
right, yes. Back to the TikTok the material. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought we could touch on a few topics that have been in the news this week, and I suppose at the forefront of most people's minds tonight is, like, following the briefing, the news about this Indian variant getting a little bit out of control. John, what's your thoughts?
My thought, I've got a few. I think if I laid it out, I think it would be very helpful right now if the government had give us how many people haven't been vaccinated that should have been. Right. Because we know between 65 and death, that upper section of the population, we know that 2 million people haven't been vaccinated at all. Either refused or not turned up for their vaccination. Like they haven't showed up. For their vaccination. Is it that high? Really, 2 million? It is really that high.
I wonder what that is.
Well, I think a lot of it, though, if you lived in... So we live in rural Suffolk. Yeah. And we don't have... So our local GP isn't doing it because they don't have a facility to store it. Right. So the next place you could get is... I bet anyone who's threatened to kill me is going, is he going to say the name? Yeah. No, I'm not. The next nearest town where they've got is about 20 miles away. But if you're if you're 90 odd, you're not going to get it. They can't. I wander around the village and I see sort of 90-year-olds and I think we're all not vaccinated because it's impossible unless someone's picked you up. You can't. Yeah. It was more dangerous mid-January to get on the bus than it was to leave it. So yeah, I hadn't considered that really because I've been so sort of selfishly focused on getting myself vaccinated. Absolutely. But yeah, you're right. Like if you're older and a bit infirm, and it's the choice of getting on a fucking virus bin like a public bus,
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
even a cold that you catch on a bus might finish you off if you're like 90. Like,
Yeah, if the local thing is the co-op, you've got to do is get to the co-op and buy your food and then go back home, which you can.
yeah,
You're not going to get this fucking thing. So we know that. So we know there's this error here. We also know that Pfizer has been specifically named in the studies, but in February, a study was released saying that they know that Pfizer is less effective in obese and morbidly obese people.
right.
They know that to be true, that the dose size, if you weigh 30 stone, is considerably less effective.
Right.
So that's another worry because they're in the at-risk group, which they only admitted in January.
I see. Okay.
And so I think there's that, and then you've got the fact that ICUs weren't full of 90-year-olds. ICUs were full of 65 and under because they weren't. If you were 95 and you got COVID,
Yeah.
they weren't. You're not suitable to be put into an induced coma because your kidneys and etc. can't clear it. So they weren't never there. That was a weird thing that people
Right.
had in their heads.
Yeah.
They weren't there, and they were saying, "Oh, terminally ill people are filling up ICUs." No, they're not. They never got intubated. They were made comfortable with oxygen and morphine, but they weren't. They were. It was they're not fit for rehabilitation. According to statistically speaking, they couldn't do the thing. So, I think people are playing. All the information's there,
Yeah.
and as usual with everything, people aren't checking what the information is.
But what's the output of this though? If you've got 2 million people within the higher risk categories who have not been vaccinated, and now you've got a variant that is more transmissible, but not more deadly, supposedly.
So we know over 70, there's a 1 in 10 chance you'll end up in hospital. So that puts 200,000 people in hospital.
Yeah. Okay. And I
Only
suppose the issue there is that if it gets out of control and there aren't sufficient numbers of people who have antibodies or the vaccine to keep it, or to what's the word? Quell it or suppress it.
That'll do.
Yeah.
That'll be suppressed. Yeah, either one.
Then shit could get a bit ugly. But it's not that it will get ugly for most of the population by the sounds of things.
It'll just fill up the ICUs, but that causes a problem because you can't operate on people. Then you can't. Heart surgery gets put back, and cancer surgeries, which have been.
This is where I put my Tory hat on, and I'll just be like, "Well, are you having surgery? Are you terminally ill, John? Are you? No. Well, what are you complaining about then?"
They've done really well with cancer all the way through. Oncology in the UK has been amazing through COVID because they've kept it so separate, and they've took over in the first wave last year. This seems like we were on a fucking sci-fi show. In the first wave, they took over loads of private hospitals. Just went, yeah, fuck off. They were like, I'm here for an elected knee surgery. You were, Kevin, but now you're fucking going home.
Yeah. Now walk home.
Yeah, because they asked the local their local, nearly said a name there. The local hospital, they asked the trust if they could have it. Can we use it? And they went, no, you fucking can't. And the next week they went, this is how it's working. Get your shit, fuck off. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We've asked nicely, fuck off.
I was a fucking coward when I went to the hospital. Like, my youngest was born in October last year.
Oh wow!
And so I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-month-old. And when we were in the hospital, obviously it was, peak hysteria period. And I was that guy with, obviously mask on, but I've bought like an industrial grade, like sort of the sort of thing you see in Outlook. Not Outlook, Outbreak, the movie.
Outbreak, right.
God, Outlook would make a shit movie, wouldn't it? But yeah, like one of those like industrial sort of visor things, and I was like doing all of this like every juncture, terrified because like it was just when we went into this hospital was the same week I read this horrible news story about it was a nurse giving a interview to, I think it was The Independent from memory, but basically she was saying like I just spoke to a guy, he was 40 and he had 2 kids, and I was explaining to him that I'm going to put him into a coma, And he said, no, don't put me into a coma because I won't wake up. And she was like, it's all going to be okay, but we do need to put you into a coma to let your body rest or something. And he was like, no, don't do it. I can't die. Like, I've got kids. And she's like, it's going to be okay. And she puts him into a coma and boom, passed away. And I read this fucking news story, and I think that was the moment for me where I was like, you know, until now, this has all seemed like a bit of a sort of jokey dystopian thing that, you know, I can feel detached from because it only affects older or, you know, very ill people. But when I started reading stories like that, like 40-year-old father of two with no pre-existing issues dies begging the nurse, you know, to not put, like, I'm like, this is, well, I'm not fucking taking any chances. Fuck this. No. I will wear my visor. I will look like a bellend.
I follow a ICU nurse in California who is on TikTok. She does TikTok videos. She's really, really great. And she's the person who does that. Like, says to somebody, okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to have to put you in induced coma. But so we're going to bring the pad in and you can talk to your family. And they're like, oh, am I saying goodbye? No. And she said, I don't know. We don't know. Because my wife's NHS and I like correcting people's bullshit because they're just spout shit. Like, even when people are trying to be clever or trying to say the right thing, they do it wrong. So they said, since so many people say, or if you think a mask's uncomfortable, you should try being intubated. No one conscious is being intubated, you fucked up.
Yeah.
That's not happening. You're unconscious.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you sure? Fucking certain. There's no one going, hold on a second, that's not how it works.
Yeah,
you are unconscious. And I know, you know, they've done these things. And obviously my wife being an NHS, they a healthcare assistant, she was 32 and a migrant into the UK, and she died in April. She just went home. She caught it in hospital, went home to bed, and they kind of rang her, you know, oh, where's and she hadn't turned up for work, and one of them went in their lunch break and thought, I better go and knock on her door, because she's really weird. She hadn't turned up, and the police knocked her, and she died in her sleep. And then a district nurse died. And when my wife's walking into this every day, and then on TikTok or on social media, people are going, what are people moaning about? Where do you fucking live? I'm going to show you what they're fucking moaning about.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's crazy world.
It is crazy, and it's... somebody commented back to me earlier in the week about this. I think he's a professor. His name's Jonathan Haidt, something like that. And he wrote a book about the differences between like liberals and conservatives and why they can never understand each other. And so anyway, I was watching a podcast with him on it, and I read a review of his book because I was, you know, interested. I always interested to sort of, you know, get the temperature down a bit and then try to debate and communicate with people rather than just screaming at each other. And this sounded like his sort of like that sort of vibe. But I don't know how you apply that sort of you know, this is why Tories don't understand Labour voters, or this is why they mock it. Like, how do you take that sort of understanding and wrap it around people who truly think that COVID is a hoax? Like, there's millions of them, fucking million. Even like, I think you did a TikTok about this, didn't you? Like, where it's like this late in the day and you still think that it's,
you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. Like, just saying you are, because today's was just, I'm bored of placating you. I don't care. I'm just going to call you a fucking idiot. Like, it doesn't matter. I've got nothing to lose. And as is, like, my phone is on silent and here. And I know when I look at it, there's this really odd thing on TikTok, and it happens on all social media. We'll get into it, but I do stuff on YouTube as well. People not understood. When somebody says, this is my platform, people don't understand what that means. You are here by my good grace. Like, if you talk to me on a comment and you say something, it's literally by my good grace that anyone else can still see it, because I'm in full control at all times. So when we're talking and you're thinking, oh, I've got him here, you never have. You never have, because I'm holding the only thing that's keeping you here. Like, you literally can't do anything at all, and I'm aware of it. It's a really weird fight. yeah, so I can't remember where I was going, but yeah, you get that all the time. I've got idiots coming at me.
Yeah.
When I look at my thing here, there'll be loads of people who've tried to put their thing across. They'll have told me about a study, or Dr. John Flipmob, who lives in France, and he knows it's not real.
Yeah.
And they think that like sometimes I'll debate them back for a bit of a laugh. Somebody said to me, I said this just before the camera went live. They said, are you a doctor? And I said, well, you're the third person to do this. You don't have to be a doctor to understand it. And then I put, are you thick? And they didn't answer. Because that's more important in this.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what doctors have said. I'm not saying I said it.
Yeah.
As I said to someone earlier, I'm repeating what they've said and added 4 fucks and a couple of dipshits. That's all I've done.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. I've stopped even really, like there's a few of them. If they genuinely take me to task and scrutinize something that I've said, and I think there's value in it and weight in it, yep. I almost enjoy when people say, actually, you're wrong about this. You said this, but actually it's like that. Then that is like, fuck, I've just learned something. That's cool. But it's the ones who, like I had one a couple of weeks ago, and you could get this on Twitter or Facebook or wherever. It just happens to, on this occasion, have been TikTok. And I put a thing up. It was about, I think it was another one of the housing crisis vids. And I was blaming it on something or other. But anyway, I started the video saying, the thing is with this country is blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I made the point, and then this guy goes, yeah, well, you're wrong about that for a start, because it's not a country, it's a union. England is the country, right? And I said, yeah, okay, great. But anyway, still, like, the point is, trying to drag him back on to the point, like, trying to be nice about it as well. And he was like, yeah, well, at least I proved you wrong. And I was like, yes, that is what happened here today. You fuck the point and all the substance within it. Like, I got the union in the country wrong, so fuck my entire life and all my ancestors.
I don't know if you said, sometimes all I'm doing is, because the way the algorithm works is positive. Doesn't care what people are commenting, just that they're commenting. And if I talk back to you and you talk back to me, then all that does is the algorithm says people are engaging and the creator's engaging back. Let's pop it on people's FYP, because this could be they don't care. It could be about a puppy. They're not bothered. They don't know that all is actually happening is an argument. But I don't like, because I won't argue. I don't play chess with pigeons. It's pointless. Yeah. I'll just take them to a different place. So I was saying to a guy, said to me today, he started off with something like, "Oi, fuckstick, who are you to talk to us?" And I thought, incredible opener.
Yeah.
No one's ever rang up
friends.
gas and gone, "All right, fuckstick, I'm trying to get that." Like, they don't go, "Oh, well, yes, no problem, Mr. Jones. We're going to get the price down."
Yeah.
So I already know, the thing's over. So all I'm going to try and do is say crap to him, so he keeps coming back to me. So it doesn't really matter what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'll say, "Oh, why do you think like that?" "Oh, I think like that because da da da." And they said something else. And I said, "What's your favourite dessert?" And they said, "What's that got to do with fucking anything?" I said, "Nothing." No, sorry. I said, "What's your favourite topping on a pizza?" And they said, "What's that got to do with anything?" And I said, "Nothing really."
Yeah.
What am I like? "What's your favourite dessert?" And they said, "Salted caramel cheesecake." And then I put, "Why are you answering?" Like, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah. It would be funnier if you asked him something fairly in depth, but also totally unrelated. So like the idea, because it's really hard to comment. You have to split comments out into like number 1, 2, 3, and all the rest, and then they're all in the wrong order. But like the idea of somebody just angrily writing like 4 or 5 comments about their dessert is just like.
Yeah. Oh, I've done it. I've done, and because I do another, so I'll make a TikTok. So all I was trying to do for then was, once I know there's no win, all I'm going to do is get them to come back to me with stupid stuff, with me asking them questions, and then I know I've got the screenshot, so I'm like, I know where it starts, know where it ends. So that's a free video for tomorrow where I do an impression of their voice and black out their name so it doesn't get done for because otherwise you get done for bullying.
Oh, really?
Madness. Oh yeah. So I blank out their name and I block them so that they can't do it, and then so they're unidentifiable, and then I just do a different voice for them, and then end up with a sign off, and then write blocked at the bottom. It's harder to get the screenshot right because I have to keep going back into the thread to get it to line up.
Yeah.
So it flows. But yeah, sometimes it's just what I'm actually doing is I've abandoned any sense of logic or the argument. I'm just setting you up now. I just want my script for free.
Yeah.
That's a free video. I've got.
You're like, I'm just here for the
laugh.
material, guys. I'm just here. Yeah.
Just keep talking shit because I really just don't care anymore.
What do you think happened with Boris Johnson's CCJ? Because this is like, I'm emotionally invested in this. I think something snidey has happened here, right? So everyone knows that he's financially a bit broke, right? Not broken, but just a bit.
Yeah, just literally broke. Yeah,
chaotic.
Yeah,
like he's like I was sort of, 10 years ago. Just you're earning money, but it's just where is it going? I don't know. Like.
You're waiting for the bills to change colour, which everybody's like, don't pay that one. It's not red yet.
Right.
When it's red, I'm going to pay it. That's what I feel like Boris is at that bit in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody said to me he missed a letter. And weird, I copped a CCJ years ago, and I just thought, like when I was like 18 and a twat, and I thought, he hasn't missed one letter. He's missed 17 letters. This is not true.
Hold on, I've lost my camera. Let me see.
Oh, yeah. I've got this one. Now I'm just like staring. It's odd.
Oh no, yeah. I've got down onto the laptop one. Oh shit. Right, there we go. I think I'm back.
Yes, you're back.
Right.
Yeah. So I think he's. Well, the other thing is, I wonder if there's just an assistant who just hates his guts and just goes, "Yeah, Blockbuster Video, fuck off." Like, knowing what's going to happen in the end.
Yeah, could be. Could be Carrie. Like Carrie just like hiding his post from him, like, yeah, you motherfucker. Like he ruined her sofa in Camberwell, so now she's just like, ruin my sofa? I'll fucking run up. I'm gonna fuck your credit rating, Boris.
There's so many things with the Carrie-Boris relationships are really interesting, and we're not allowed to, like, if it was any other politician on earth, you'd care. Like, so we almost know now that she punched him in the eye, and he had a black eye. That's not really. I'm not going too far with us. We know he had makeup on. We know the police were called. We know he most likely had a black eye. So she hit, and there's a story why she did that. And we know that last August, when they were on holiday in Scotland, he ended up sleeping in a tent in the garden. And like, this is so fucking. This is mental.
Have you seen that series 4 of Line of Duty with Thandie Newton, yes. Right? And you know how she, like, there's that scene where she like smacks her husband and he looks like frightened of her. Like, she's like, everything I do is for this family, and then like slaps him and then slaps him. Like, he thinks it was just a one-off slap, and then she goes back in for the other. And he looks like he's got that sort of undignified man just been punched by a woman face. So where like this bit of the face only comes out when you're ashamed and you've been. It's like this. It's like. It's like scared.
Anyone who's ever been in that, because I think most people have had a crazy ex-girlfriend, and so like, because domestic violence is such a weird thing. It's still like women on men. Domestic violence is always still humorous. Like Mrs. Brown's Boys, which is I've never ever seen trailers for it, and it's just dog shit.
I think it's
still funny.
I think it's humorous when it's Boris Johnson getting slapped about. I don't care if that makes me biased.
I think it's funny that he was in a tent.
Yes.
In the garden, I think that's really funny. But I just think if that was Keir Starmer, we would still be. He would be tent Starmer, but it's Boris. Everybody goes, yeah. Like Carrie, I like the fact that because the press didn't know where they are.
Yeah.
Can you imagine her going, "You can fuck off to Argos and get a tent and sleep in the fucking garden."
Yeah.
And him going, "Well, no, because if the press, they don't know where we fucking are. Fuck off into the garden." And you can imagine him putting it together.
Yeah.
Like in the garden. Are you sure this is? Don't look at me. All right, I'm doing it.
Wasn't there a thing? The story I read about it was that was their PR like photo setup to say that they were going camping in Scotland, but actually it was just an empty tent the whole time. Is that not what it was?
He was asleep in the garden, like definitely. Like it doesn't make nothing else makes. As soon as you look at it with like logic, he was sleeping. She kicked him out. He was sleeping in the fucking garden. Yeah, I hope that's true. That's a story that I want to be true. That's infinitely more, salacious. Yeah, but it's everything that it's ridiculous.
But yeah, I want her to be this sort of, you know, angry Lady Macbeth kind of figure in the background that slaps him around and runs up like county court judgments for him. But the thing that's like weirded me out about it is like, so here's like, we know how hard up he is. We know that he's asked donors to fund his nanny, pay for his nanny and his holiday and the redecoration of his flat. All of these are things that he can't afford to pay, seemingly. And now we know that a £500 CCJ, it hasn't just miraculously appeared, it's been outstanding for 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So you would think if it were fraudulent, or, you know, whatever the word was that they used to describe it, where they say, no, thrown out. You would think if that were the case, it would have landed on his assistant's desk or Carrie's, or, you know,
multiple times.
Yeah. And then it would have been handled or dismissed. Yeah. But the fact that it's snowballed and snowballed and snowballed, and now that it's reached Private Eye and, you know, The Guardian or wherever else, now at this point they're like, yeah, we're gonna get it thrown out, and it has been thrown out, and I'm like, this is so fishy.
It's really dodgy, the whole thing. He's definitely, there's something to it. Like, he owes something stupid to someone stupid. Like, it'll be, I don't know, like his repeat oyster order or something. Like, yeah, it's just gone through and they've gone, fuck him. We get these oysters. He gets 12 a week. He hasn't fucking paid for him. CCJ the bastard.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Or it's something that he thought he got a donor to pay for, but the donor was like, I'm not fucking paying for that shit. And then,
could you imagine if you're the bailiff that day though, like, and you get the thing, and you're like, yeah, I'll fucking get it. All right, because if you get a marshal of the court, so if it had been, because I used to run a building for over 55s, used to have 60 apartments. I used to be the manager, and we'd have that one we'd get was county court marshals would turn. A court marshal would turn up for a court bailiff would turn up for a dead person. That happened like so fucking often. Like,
really?
Someone would go, Mrs. Jensen hasn't paid for her water since like 2007. It was like 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not a surprise. She's been dead since 2006. I mean, we can fucking see if we can stick her back together and get her down the bank, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, yeah.
And it'd be also my job to protect them. But there's lots of laws you have to need to know. So the bailiff would think they'd say, and as I am now in the property, no, you're not. You're on the company's property. Their property's upstairs.
Yeah.
Calm down. You're getting excitable. You can't take anything. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would have loved to have been that. Like those. There's that horrible show, isn't there, on the BBC? Like I don't know what it's called. Oh, Don't Pay, We'll Take It Away. Who the fuck is watching that? Watching people's abject fucking misery.
They called it like it's like poverty porn. That's what they call it, isn't it?
Oh, that's awful, isn't it? Oh God, what fucking world do we live in where you'd watch that? Sit down. He hasn't paid for his TV. Kevin, come here. Watch this. They're going to take his fucking smash the window, take the car.
This is the thing. Like going back to, or like bringing things full circle to, you know, when we were talking earlier about anyone who's ever been really broke, and for me, watching those sorts of shows and those sorts of scenes it's like sort of taking you right back to that moment, because like I've had fucking, you know, red letters land on my doorstep, and I've had to go through consumer credit agencies and, you know, try to renegotiate with all my debtors and creditors. Sorry, and the fear and the
it's everything. It's embarrassing. It's just
it is, but it's more than that, because it sort of breeds it. Well, I don't know if I ever really resented anyone, but I could see that it would breed resentment in, like, if you're surrounded by friends who are all doing pretty well and they're earning good money, and you are just swimming in debt, and every time you get paid, immediately it's gone, and then they're talking about going fucking, you know, skiing together and all of that shit. It's not just shame, it's just like, for fuck's sake, like, and then you start panning out and you're like, well, why are they doing so well? Oh, they all come from really rich families. Awesome.
Or they're not. The other one is they're not. You know, they've got 30k on credit cards and they're jumping them around.
Yeah,
they're
for
just
sure.
better at jumping them around than you are.
Yeah.
And you're like, how the fuck is he driving an Audi? I
Yeah.
know he's got 125% mortgage. He's got like TV on credit. I remember going to a friend's house, and him showing me his TV. I've got and just going like, why the fuck is it so huge?
Yeah.
It was like 40-inch TV, and they said, oh, how big's your TV? I said, well, it's like 32 inches. And they said, do you not want a bigger one? I said, the TV police rarely come round our way. Like, how big's your TV? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. Can you see stuff? Yeah, that's fine then.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we had a 9-inch portable. There's 5 kids in our house. We would be in the dining room, like not in the lounge.
Yeah.
We were one of those families where the lounge was used for certain things, the dining room. And we'd all be like squashed around watching Biker Grove and a 9-inch telly.
Yeah.
Like 5 of us, like watching this fucking TV. No, we're not using the lounge.
Yeah.
That's for family time. What the fuck is a room for?
Do you think like when you grow up like that, or you're faced with that sort of like frugal and like financially restricted existence, do you think that then when you get to your 40s and you're a bit more comfortably off, that you go like, which way would you go? Do you go crazy and then buy all the shit that you know, useless shit? Like you're like that scene in Dumb and Dumber where one guy says, okay, just come back with the essentials though, we're on a very tight button. Then he comes back out with like a fucking cowboy hat and like whistles and all that shit. Like, do you go that outrageous, or does it make you, really value money?
I do think I feel like incredibly fortunate where my dad is now 74 this year. He still works full time. He's a coder. He writes
good for him.
Back end of websites and stuff. But he's a lefty, like a proper lefty. And but middle class. He once asked me what he was, which is really funny.
Right.
He went, "What am I?" And I said, "What do you mean, what am I?" He said, "What class am I?" And I said, "Well, it depends if you believe in the class system." And he said, "Well, I don't." I said, "Oh, yeah, I understand." And he said, "But what do you think I would be?" And I said, "Well, you've got a 32-foot conservatory and a motor launch." And he went, "Right." I said, "You're middle class as fuck, is what that's called."
Yeah.
And he went, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." But he's the same. Like he thinks property prices are out of all fucking like proportion. They're mental. And he'll just say it. And he'll say, like, if I say to him, "Oh, we might go to Thailand in October,"
yeah.
He'll go. He's one of those people who just go, because you'll never sit back in like 10 years time and go, "Oh, remember when we bought that sofa?"
Yeah, that's true.
Like, who gives a fuck? He just thinks you should have food in the house, don't be cold, be warm, and have a comfy bed.
Yeah.
And that's it. All the rest of it's just shit that who gives a fuck about. So I'm really lucky that I've got this left wing dad.
Yeah.
And a mum, I'm always saying to my mum, spend your fucking money. So she'll say to me, everyone's going to be equal in the will.
Yeah.
Stop saving money.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I wish I was a bit more sort of focused on the making memories side of finance, like having a good holiday and making sure that you're getting away to places that you're going to remember. But I think when you have kids, it just shifts everything so radically that you think like a holiday goes right to the bottom of the list of things. You're just so obsessed with, oh shit, we've got to get a new playpen. Oh bugger, now we've got to replace this. Oh, the 4-year-old needs something for his birthday next. But like, there's always fucking something to get.
We have no kids, so I've been on shitloads of holidays. I've been everywhere.
Great. So happy for you.
Vietnam. I've done them all.
Yeah.
I get friends of mine who say, like, when we're 50, we're going to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, enjoy it. We went there last year. It's good. It's good times.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to that age. But I do get it as well.
This is my containing my jealousy face, as you're wondering. I mean, we're thinking about going to Bali next year because I have this fantasy in my brain that we will just pack up and fuck off and move over there. And like we're super lucky that we've got on the ladder here. But does it sound unpatriotic if I just say I really don't have an awful lot of faith in Britain for the next 10 to 15 years?
We currently live here. In 2012, we had an opportunity basically to kind of go fuck it off and just move to Thailand.
Right.
And we didn't do it. My wife's grandfather wasn't very well, and we didn't do it. And now we realise how dumb that was, because you can get back, in 24 hours. Because you just sat with £1,000 in the bank, always make sure you've got a safety net of £1,000.
Yeah.
You can get a flight, and you know if you were told your as long as they're okay, they're if they're dead anyway. But if they're ill, you can be there as quick as you normally would be. If I found out at 7 o'clock in the morning, I get a flight at 3, land at Heathrow at 9, get a cab and see him. It doesn't really matter. The world's not that big anymore. It's quite small. You can just fuck off.
Yeah, for sure.
And you only kind of see that in retrospect. He died when we were on our honeymoon. And no one told us. It didn't make any difference because he was still dead when we got home.
Right.
Like my mother-in-law said, "Oh, really bad. He passed away." Like, and it was one of those things. It was bad, but we'd seen him before we went, and not telling us was what the perfect thing to do. It was fucking madness to say he's dead. Quick, get back.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those weird. Like, if it was your mum or your dad, obviously you'd want to know immediately. But if it's
but they didn't. I mean, there was like 4 hours to go. He was going to die. They knew he was going to. They found out 4 hours to go, and then he died. But once he's died, once that bit's done, there's very little point turning up, is there? Getting back up. Let's see if we can get him going again. He can die again. It doesn't make any difference.
Well, I was thinking more around the sensitivity of your honeymoon. Like that's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
You just want to leave people alone to get on with that part of their
if
life.
I was at Butlins, I wouldn't have wanted to know. No, be kidding. What do you want? We are going to play bowling. See ya.
Yeah. So
I did high five my wife's got quite a dark sense of humour, same as I have. When we were at her granddad's funeral, people always think a lot of people think that my wife's very quiet and like shy. People are like, I don't know how you two, they might think it's an odd relationship. Whereas her sense of humour, at its worst, is sick as fuck. It's crazy.
But they do say that about, like, I don't know what your wife does in the NHS, but I'm sure I've heard this about doctors and nurses, that because they're faced with, pain, agony, misery, it's proper gallows humour, and the same in police force apparently, and lawyers the same supposedly.
Yeah. But she'll come out throughout the funeral. One of her granddad's friends gave her a hug. Gave her a hug and held her hands and said, this was the wake. She said, and we were in the Royal British Legion, and she said, he's up there right now, and he's so proud of you. And she said, my wife said, thank you. And she went, yeah, okay, just stay strong. Just remember, he's up there. Kissed him, and she walked off. And then she turned to me and she went, he better fucking not be, because they said they were cremating him. If they put him in the ceiling, there is going to be some real trouble. Just as he goes out, quick, get down the Legion, get him up.
You need that though, don't you? I think you need a bit of a dark sense of humour to lighten up that kind of shit, because otherwise it's too intense. It's too,
Yeah, I was going to do a joke on TikTok. There was going to be my TikTok today, but it's really hard to put across.
Yeah.
So my uncle died a couple of years ago. He's 2 years younger than my dad. And my dad was really kind of stoic at the funeral, and he got through it. And he was kind of listening, and he'd been sick for a long, long time. And everything was going fine for him. And weirdly, my wife was by my dad because she's better emotionally. And she thought if he goes, she'll be the one to step in. And he went out. The moment of consideration, or whatever it's called, just before they go out, the coffin leaves, was now how am I going to do not to get the song? I'm not going to get the song. Tambourine Man.
Oh right,
that was what it was. It's one of my dad's favourite songs, and turns out one of my uncles, and they played it, and my dad cracked at that point. That was the moment. He just he was just getting a bit het up, and my wife held his hand, and then the coffin went, and then we went out the room, and it's always the first rows, family first leave, don't they?
Yeah.
I went out by the side of my dad, and as we led out the door, my dad's got a thing, which is you always do the joke. It doesn't matter where you are, the joke is the important thing, because it's not funny later, right?
Yeah.
He would not, and I leant down, squeezed his hand, and he looked at me because I'd squeezed his hand. He's a little bit shorter than me, and he looked up, and I went, he's fucking ruined that for you. And that was enough to break the thing. And then he was laughing as we went out the door.
Yeah, I think you need that. It's I think it's a sort of misconception that you shouldn't, that sometimes there's an inappropriate moment, isn't there, for stuff, but if you can break the tension, if you could just lighten the mood a little bit. And also,
Okay.
like, I'm a fan of sort of dark sense of humours, and like it always seems like an ironic thing with people, especially, that it's always the people, in my experience, who have the dark sense of humour that are actually the nicest people. So, like,
yeah, every time.
you know, like you could watch like a Bill Hicks bit, or listen to death metal, or but do you know any goths or like death metal fans? Like, I'm not into goth culture or death metal or anything, but the guys that I know who are into that, nicest fucking people you will ever meet.
Scott, who's an American on TikTok, nicest guy, and like his musical taste to me is just random screamy noises.
Yeah,
really nice. He's like English, but lived in America for a while. Then moved back over here, and he lives in London. And he'll be like, "Oh, I was listening to this track earlier," and it's like, and then he'll be like, "I was so pissed off today. I didn't get this fucking job, and this woman was so fucking rude. And I sent her an email. I was like, this is not on. You are being really rude." And it's like the juxtaposition of
yeah.
Just, I think you should be more polite to people in the future.
yeah. It's like 1 minute like lip syncing and shouting along to like, "You will be my death bride," and then next second, "Do you want a cup of tea, John? Can I get you anything?" "Yeah, okay." Like, I wonder if it's that they get all the hate and the anger out of it, and then they're just left with kindness. Is that it?
I don't know. I always think as well that people with dark sense of humour are always the person you want in a situation. Because they're going to get everything sorted and they'll work out a joke. Like, halfway through.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's also, it works in the inverse as well. Like, people who I grew up with, or like, in my 20s, people who were into the happy music, not so nice. Like, sort of, dancey, trancey stuff is all quite upbeat. It's all, lyrics like, "Yeah, boy, I'm gonna dance for you all night," stuff like that. But like, the people at my school who were into that, fucking biggest bellends ever. Anyway, I don't know what to make of that. That's
I think you've broken them.
Yeah. So we have to sort of
There's a great comment in chat from Darren Gates who said, "My nan Margot died a few years back. She never got anyone's name right. At the funeral, the priest kept calling her maggot."
I mean, how do you keep a straight face in a funeral like that?
There are. My great uncle. I don't even know. His name's Horace. He's a really nice guy, and he was quite old. He passed away in sleep, and it wasn't all that sad. But everybody got to the thing, and for some reason, someone gave him a compilation. If I'm asked to do a funeral track for somebody, I'll always do one track on one CD. Right? So there's only one track. Like, don't let them. Like, on our wedding, I gave them a CD at the town hall we were at.
Yeah.
And the CD had 3 tracks on it. That was it. Like, so it can't fuck up.
Yeah.
This is it. And anyway, somebody gave a compilation, and I can never remember the song, but there's one I know. It's quite good. But he was supposed to go out to something like "My Way" or something like that.
Right.
One of the really cliched as fuck.
Yeah.
As the curtain shut, they were all like, and blah 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 blah. Everybody's having a moment of reflection as their coffin leaves, and everybody's like that. And the curtains came across, and instead of playing "My Way," it played something like "Relight My Fire" by Take That and Lulu.
Yeah.
Like, and the family pissed themselves.
Yeah.
Like, it was the funniest thing they'd ever heard. Like, you can imagine the chap in charge just kind of like, "Oh," and then looking down, and all these like North Londoners going, "Best thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. Hilarious. Absolutely. I couldn't have done it funnier myself."
Yeah. Oh, amazing. That'd be a pretty good exit. And to be honest, like, if you had the choice, so your funeral, would you want people to be morose and sad? I think I'd rather that they were laughing.
Yeah.
Even if it was at my expense,
Yeah, you can do.
Which is fortunate, because I'm sure there would be a lot of people happy at my funeral. So I don't know.
As long as the room's full, I think you're okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch in the last few minutes that we've got on the mayoral race, which completed this week. So neither you or I live in London, right? So so we can't vote in it.
Yeah.
But did you have a candidate that you were rooting for?
Yeah, but can't, because we do know that these things. I think you need the double term. I think really as a fair cop at it
Yeah.
anyway. And Bailey is a massive prick, so I just wanted to see him get his. And
Yeah.
what bothered me the most, I think they need to change the rules.
Mm.
However unpopular this is, they need to tighten it and say we need like a maximum of whatever 10 candidates, which is still mental, but it was ridiculous. The list of mayoral candidates was insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
You may as well bin your vote. If you didn't vote for Bailey or Khan, you were throwing your vote in the bin anyway. Who cares?
yeah. I suppose the funniest thing about obviously was Count Binface, right?
Always
So,
funny, yeah.
Amazing. But and then Lawrence Fox,
Fucking arsehole.
who I'm really enjoying hating. Like, you know, when you enjoy hating someone.
Like Katie, what's her face?
Katie Hopkins.
Yeah, she gets airtime because she doesn't believe the things she says. I don't think Lawrence Fox does. He just says controversial shit because he's an idiot, and no one would care if he didn't. Like his acting career is in the bin now, so he's got to just be a twat.
Yeah,
constantly.
that's it. He'll have to pursue this. There'll be no other option.
Nobody wants him. He's toxic. Like, you can't have him anywhere near a set because you'll just think, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
It's nutbag who thinks when you watch back, like, so many people amplified the news night. You know, when he did the news night thing, and they were talking about racism, and Lawrence Fox does this thing about, you know, that on-white racism. You know, kind of, someone in the audience talks about the fact, you know, that this is racist, and he's like, well, you're being racist to me. You don't even understand. That's not possible. It's not a race, you fucking idiot. Please shut the fuck up. You sound like a twat. But the thing was, it was such a... it's what every dipshit right-wing nutbag is thinking all the time. You know, when they kind of, you know, when you kind of go, you know, Black Lives Matter, which is hugely important. And they go, White Lives Matter too.
Yeah.
They always fucking have. It's fine.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
But the problem is that when you get someone like him on a show like that, and I used to really hate the idea of, you know, role models and people, you know, you should be able to make up your own mind and don't come down on people for being bad role models, etc. But the older I get, the more I sort of change my mind about that sort of shit. Where now I'm like, if you have someone like him, and like it or not, a huge amount of the population, I think, have some sort of fetish with posh accents. So if you have somebody who's well educated, that sounds very articulate on a mainstream news show, answering questions in that way, saying shit in a narrative or using rhetoric that resonates with these people, they're not going to think, oh, he's a bit of a bellend. He's an actor that's out of work and he says a lot. But they're going to go, wow, he seems really smart. Yeah. And he's saying the stuff that we say. Yeah. So it's going to legitimize it, whether you like. So I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. Who was I was just thinking of a TikToker, Phil, in Surrey.
Right. Yeah.
Like, he can't say anything, like, because I have this with the voice thing. People will say to me, it doesn't matter. When I was a kid, there was 5 children in our house. It was a 7-person family.
Yeah.
When the recession hit in the 80s, we got absolutely knackered. My dad went bankrupt in 1990. But people don't want to hear someone with the voice. Because I'm from Buckinghamshire. That just comes with the package. It doesn't matter, not anything. It doesn't mean anything at all.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, you don't know what it's like. We ate so many potatoes. like it was like Sunday dinner was... Basically, it doesn't matter what's served as long as there's a sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
And the most important thing you do is eat those.
Yeah.
Why have we got so many potatoes? We'll tell you later. Like, it doesn't matter. And if there was a curry, so much rice. There'd be like a bucket of rice on the table.
Yeah.
You go nuts with that. Like,
Fill yourself up just so you're not hungry. That's goal A. And then we'll talk about what vegetables we might get next week.
I remember sitting down with I've got 2 sisters, 2 brothers, and we'd have a jug of water on the table for dinner. And in the summer, there'd be ice cubes in it, right? And there would be, like, I don't know, 10 ice cubes. If 2 slipped out into your cup, they'd be like, the rest of them would go, what's going on? John's on 2 ice cubes.
Yeah.
This fucks up the ratios. And on Christmas Day, we used to have 1 bottle of Coke and 1 bottle of Fanta.
Yeah.
And we to stop everybody getting up early and annoying the shit out of everybody, there used to be a rule which no one's allowed up until 7 o'clock. So he didn't send everybody mad. And it was like a starter gun went off. Like at 7 o'clock, there was 1 2-litre bottle of Fanta and 1 2-litre bottle of Coke. 6 minutes past 7, there was 2 empty plastic bottles in the kitchen because there was never any fizzy drink in our house. That never ever happened.
Yeah.
So, fuck it, just drink it.
Need the sugar.
If I say that,
Yeah.
If I say that with the voice, people go, "Well, fuck it, you're just making it up."
Yeah, no, I get the same thing. Like, I can't talk about like any video I put up about working class issues or like red wall voters or anything like that. It is immediately interpreted in the context that I am a middle class home counties guy, and I must have been privately educated and had my whole life handed to me. And if I correct people on it, I feel like even the correction is seen through that context. It's like I'm talking down on them or something, like
it did. I saw you doing it the other day on the TikTok about exactly this.
Yeah.
And I really liked it because I was like, you nailed it. And I thought, I'm not going to I don't need to clap back and go, yeah, fucking, I know what you mean.
It's just,
but people just will give you shit. Like,
yeah.
And it's, the other thing is that almost not reply because it's not worthy. It's got there's no context. It's just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Why? So if I came on and did like if I did an impression of someone in my family, you'll go with it. So my nan's from a council house, and she was basically Nan from Catherine Tate. That's my Nan. She was exactly like that. To be really nice to your face, and as soon as you walk off, she'd go, "She's bloody horrible."
Yeah.
Immediately. If I do an impression of like my great uncle Bob or something, like I'm doing one of those readbacks or some comments, I could just do that. Should have just done TikTok like, all right, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And then you'd believe it. But, no.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard when you do sort of half comedic videos as well, because a lot of doing comedy, I think, is exaggeration. And if I'm using a different voice to try and make it be a different character, I might exaggerate the accent that I've chosen to use that day. Now, if it's a northern accent, people are going to be like, "Oh, you fucking no, son, no!" Like, oh, no. We were talking about it because you were or are a stand-up. I was talking to Rob earlier. Yeah.
Him being a stand-up as well.
Yeah, I did stand up for about 5 years. And it sort of peaked in 2015, so just before my girlfriend got pregnant. And
I watched your special after you told me about it.
Oh, did you?
I watched it on YouTube's. Yeah.
I'm sorry I robbed you of an hour of your life.
That was really good. I just carried on working and watched the thing.
But yeah, so I did that for a bit, and then I became a father, and that crushed my dreams. So. I mean,
I was in Vietnam at the time. It was great.
You motherfucker.
Weather was fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to get back to it at some point. It's impossible at the moment, obviously, because there's no comedy going on. But
no.
And
we were talking as one thing that I get on TikTok, which I know you have as well, which is you. So sometimes I'll just be lying in bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I've got the bit in my head I know I'm going to do. So today I was walking to work and thinking I'm going to do this straight down the camera. Joke, straight down the camera. Like as if it's a news announcement.
Right.
Hi, if you're a fuckwit or an idiot and you still don't believe in COVID, but you feel that you can argue your point, you're still a fuckwit, an idiot, right? And I've got this, and I was going to go and then go there, and weirdly, I got that in one take, which is fucking out of the ordinary. It doesn't normally happen to me. But I've had when I've done a walk and talk, lots of people have said like they don't understand that you did think of it, you did plan every second, every syllable of that.
Yeah.
I've got 60 seconds. It wasn't that it cut off at the end. It was that I had it up to the second, and I'd shot it 3 times, or shot it 17 times, and something else was added to it. And I thought that's funny, and then I went back.
Yeah.
And did it again.
Yeah. I wonder what percentage of people think that the walk and talk stuff is just off the cuff, because it's like, I think I said this to you the other night, but like for me, they take about 45 minutes to do. And like, I start off with nothing. I'll just start talking about whatever's in the news or whatever's in my head. And then somewhere along that 45 minutes, it sort of starts coming together and becomes whatever nonsense I've decided to upload that day. But yeah, it's never, ever off the cuff.
No.
I wish it was.
I was going to say what I do for a living, because I just realised you've got like, I don't know what time you're cutting off, 9-ish, something like that.
Yeah, we got to wrap up in a second, mate. I've got babies I've got to go and look at.
Oh,
Look
okay,
at.
yes.
Look after.
So,
not just going to sit and look at them.
When you said to me the other day, we were setting up on the thing for the show, you said we were doing like a camera test and mic test, and you said, I don't think you're a wildlife barrister, really. I saw you say that the other day, but I don't think you do that. No, and I don't. David, there's David Childs in chat. He's one of. I know David because he views the other show I do, which is called the New Home Show, which is about vaping. I work. That's what I really do. Yeah. For anybody watching, I actually work in vaping, and have done done the social media side of it for about seven years.
Yeah.
So when I get trolls, I think I've been doing this every day.
Yeah.
For 7 years. Good luck. I really hope you've got a hard hat on, because I've seen everything.
I also feel like if social media was your life, right, and it was your job, and you were like some 23-year-old influencer, you might take a lot of these comments to heart. But I was thinking about this earlier, that because from my perspective, because I've got quite a full life, like I've got 2 kids, I've got an angry girlfriend, I've got like a job, like a full-time day job, and I like my job.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the idea that there's gonna be some sort of hole left in my heart by some bellend going like, you look like a rat, mate. Like, I'm like, okay, cool, mate. Later, bye. Anyway, back to this real thing over here.
But you hit on that earlier as well when you talked about being called in for a disciplinary. You're 16, and they're kind of like, have you stolen 500 quid?
Yeah.
Like now, if you were back in that, if you could like just put your whole personality back in there, you'd sit down and they give you stolen 500 quid. Fuck off! Like, it wouldn't even be.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go. Oh my god! You don't think? Oh, I might have. You just go. Fuck off! Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. But that's something.
That's how I feel on social media, because I had a guy. I was at an event and I was meant to be hosting the raffle for this event, and a guy came up to me. He was a bit bigger than me, and he came up next to me and he went. As soon as he stood next to me, I flashed back the comment I'd made a joke about something about 6 months previous, but I knew what it was because this guy hadn't spoken to me since. He was saying how great somebody I know is who's got a very dark comedy. And he put it on Facebook. He said, "Oh, it's really." I pretend the guy's name's Tom. He said, "Tom is really, really lovely. I know he puts out this personality that he's quite wicked. He does these jokes, but he's actually a really nice guy." And I said, "That's a lie. I've got a video on my phone of him stabbing a kitten to death." Right. That was what I replied in the comment.
Right.
And this nutter wrote, "You shouldn't make jokes about that." And I went, "No, it's not a joke. I've really got the video. It's disgusting," right? Because I'm like, now, fuck off.
Now,
like,
it
doesn't.
You're in too deep
real.
at this point. Yeah.
You're feeling bad for a kitten that doesn't exist, mate. I'm not going to take it back. He's like, delete the comment. No. And then so now I'm at this event, and this guy, and I've got to host a raffle in about an hour's time, and this guy came up to me and he went, "Do you remember me?" And I went, "Yeah." And he said, "Do you remember that comment?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Do you still think it's funny?" And I said, "Yeah." And he went, I said, "This isn't how you pictured it, is it? You thought you were going to come over and say this, that, and the other. But I honestly don't give a fuck. I'm in no way scared of you. I know you've got a perception of me, but take it out of your head, because like I was just thinking, you think that there's some like Pillsbury fucking boxing rules. There's nothing. You just walked up to me and you're going to start a fight with me.
Yeah.
I can pick up a table and wrap it around your head. I literally can't lose. Fuck off." And I have to host this raffle. Everybody here is waiting for me to do that. You're not fighting me. You're fighting 2,000 people. Beat the shit out of me. You've got to make it to the gate. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
But that's a confidence that only comes like with age, isn't it? It's like
exactly. Yeah.
What would you like? How would you have behaved if you'd been like 20 and a big bloke.
Oh shit myself!
Yeah.
I would have just been apologising immediately.
Yeah.
The second, oh, I'm really sorry. No, I didn't know because no, it was just a joke because it was on the internet. And them going, yeah, it was on the internet. Well, yeah, no, it really was. Yeah, no, but now,
Yeah.
now I'm like nearly 40. It's like, yeah, do you remember that? Yeah, I did. And then, but it was just fun to realise, just to look him in the face and go, I know you were stood over there and you saw me and you thought that's that guy and this is going to happen. And what's fucked up is you've played through a narrative that's imaginary, and I don't care that you've come over. Literally don't care.
Yeah.
It's still a funny joke. I would do it today.
Yeah.
Do it again. I'd definitely do it. Still funny. I've still got the video of him stabbing a kitten to death. It's amazing. I've actually got it put in 3D.
Yeah.
Do what you like.
I've got VR goggles for it. Yeah.
Watch it. Feel the experience. Just like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I know. It's that. I remember watching an 18-year-old trying to start a fight with my friend who's about 35. And just thinking, oh, like, you're an idiot. This is the stupidest thing you could do. Never do that, because the 35-year-old is thinking, I can't be hit in the face. Because I've got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can't get this shirt ripped because my wife's mum bought it for me and she loves this shirt. So I'm going to just hit him in the head with a chair because that's the only way to stop this fight from getting anywhere. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I know as a 39-year-old man, just don't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
You think that there's a rule. There's no rules. It's all gone.
It's like when people say, I wish that I knew what I know now when I was younger, right? And when I think about the people that I used to idolize when I was younger, when I was a wayward teen, John, and like I'd be watching Jackass and like Bam Margera would be on there, and I'd be like, he's so fucking cool, and his girlfriend's so hot, and he just gets to do whatever he likes all the time. He just like drives sports cars, and you know everyone thinks he's cool and funny, and I wish I was like Bam. And and now I follow. Do you follow him on Instagram? Now I'm just like,
I had to do for a while, I think.
Yeah, like I'm like I've got 2 kids, my girlfriend, my job, and I look at his life on there, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so glad I'm not Bam. Like, and then like it's not just him. Like, not to sort of speak down on people who are going through some sort of rough time with addiction, but I'm a bit like
no, because it doesn't. It's like Prince Harry popped in the news. I don't give a shit about royals past or present, and he popped in the news yesterday with my dad's a wanker, and I don't want to be a wanker, and my nan's a bit of a wanker as well. Harry, the problem is you're going to have to keep doing that forever, and it's going to get so cloying, because there's just nothing. It's such a vacuous shit. No one will. Even people who think they're on, or there's a side to be on, I don't think there is. Whatever, do what you fucking want. You're going to have to come out with something that gets you in the press every fortnight for the rest of your life, and that's a choice you make. And fuck that. He would have been better off just shutting them. I totally get the race thing's a different thing entirely. I just think. I couldn't give a fuck about the Windsors.
I think with him, he's in a really awkward position because, and I'm similar to you, where I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you cancel the monarchy tomorrow, I'd be like, yeah, cool, whatever.
I'll be over it quick.
But with him, because he's got such a sort of white hot spotlight on him, and because the royals sell papers in the UK, he has to expect and assume that whatever he says on that podcast, they're going to pull shit out of it, take it out of context, misinterpret it, and then wrap it up and bundle it out. Because people will fucking eat that shit up. They'll just be like, oh my God, can't believe he said this. It's so disrespectful to his father. But I think
essentially he's not a very entertaining person.
No.
He's not
well, not anymore.
It would be a hell of a fluke to be not only the heir to the throne's second son, but to also be brilliantly entertaining, and he isn't. If you boiled it all down, without the royal stuff, it's like you haven't got anything. Like his wife, is incredibly talented. She's an actress. She's just fantastic. He really isn't. I just don't care what he's doing.
Yeah,
Harry's doing this. I don't give a fuck. William's doing that. Equal. I don't care. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
and he's going ugly bald, which I feel kind of bad because he's kind of like. Instead of going bald at the front, like William kind of went like that. At the back, it looks like he's wearing a red hot cap, and it's kind of gone. It's going to creep that way.
Oh, really?
He's doing an Edward. Yeah, it's going to be not good.
Oh dear. But he's living in LA, right? So he's going to get like probably hair sewn into his head or like whatever they do.
But he can't, because as soon as he does, they'll notice. And then it's that thing, you know. It's like, if no one ever notices you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like everybody. I remember a guy used to go into a shop I ran, and he had a wig on, and he had 3 wigs, like just cut, fine, needs a cut, like, and you could see when it changed it.
Yeah.
And everyone he worked with must have known, but it doesn't matter because it's just Keith. He's not. He's not Prince William.
Yeah.
If Prince William turns up with a full head of hair, you go,
What the fuck? Yeah. Yeah. Right, mate. We need to wrap this up because I've got to go and take care of my bubbers. So, thank you so much for joining us. Anyone that is watching the live stuff, I hope that this has been interesting for you to listen to and watch. And there's a new episode out every Friday. I was going to say Wednesday then for some weird reason. There's a new episode out live every Friday, usually 7:30, sometimes slightly later. And it's on iTunes and Spotify the next day. But for now, thank you so much, John, left of the countryside, and we'll catch up with you guys soon.
thank you, Aid.